initially I was going to make a to be read video, but just go back and watch all of the videos or any of the videos on my channel where I promise to do something and I can guarantee you it hasn't happened. So rather than doing that, I figured, hey, I've actually managed to finish a couple books this month already. Why don't I review those? The first book I read was a graphic novel, Star Wars The Old Republic Volume 1, Blood of the Empire. This is the story of an apprentice named Teneb Kel, and it's his journey to becoming a Darth. If you played Star Wars The Old Republic, this graphic novel takes place about 25 years in the past. You actually encounter Teneb Kel under his Darth name in one of the Imperial storylines. I really enjoyed the story, but I had the same problem I have with almost every single graphic novel, which is I feel like graphic novels are too short and doesn't have very much writing. It's much more picture based. The picture style reminded me a lot of the older cartoons that I used to watch, like the X-Men from the 90s. Definitely had a real comic book feel to them. This book is $10. I picked it up on sale for half price like a year ago as a promotional deal for the Star Wars The Old Republic MMO that came out. I know there are other volumes. I probably will read them as I'm currently kind of addicted to Star Wars. I pretty much have been ever since Disney bought Star Wars and they're like, hey, we're making a 7th movie. I know a lot of my friends are excited about that, so I'm like, must catch up on Star Wars lore. So yeah, that was the first book I read, Blood of the Empire, or the graphic novel Blood of the Empire. The second book I finished was The Rings of Poseidon by Mike Crowson. I've been reading this book over the last 3 months or so. Actually, more than that. This was a book in my August goals from last year. Basically, the plot of this is there's an archaeological dig going on in Scotland, I believe. It might be Ireland. It's one of the two. I can't remember now. It was mentioned in the beginning. The archaeological team discovers this ring. So one of the members decide they want to put on the ring. And by putting on the ring, they are now given a premonition or a vision of their past that actually involve the ring. And I think it's about 6 or 7 characters to this. All of them had encountered this ring before in a past life, and the ring gave them the experience of reliving that past. Most of them had very violent encounters with the ring. They also discover an amulet. The director of the archaeological dig shows up, and Alicia instantly recognizes him as the man who who sacrificed her centuries ago on the plain of in the city of Atlantis. So then they discover that along with that this one ring and this one amulet aren't the only ones. There are 7 rings, an amulet, and 7 masks. So now half the team, or half the archaeological team, has to go to Spain to get the masks. The main problem I had with this story was they're all like, this dude, he's the super evil villain. And then like, he dies. So then there's like this whole race going on. Except for the fact that the good guys won by such a huge mile that you're all like, that was supposed to be like a race? I guess when I'm reading fantasy and science fiction, I'm used to much more direct conflicts with the heroes and the antagonists, and they only met once in the book. it isn't the worst book I ever read, but it felt like nothing was actually happening. Like, I got the same feeling I had the same feeling in this book that I had when I was reading Twilight, and you get to the climactic scene, and then Bella gets kicked in the head, passes out, she wakes up in hospital, and you're like, but the fight, it didn't happen. I felt like that in this book. The only time the heroes and antagonists ever cross paths is like once in the middle of the book. Blah! Tension. Tension is good. So that's all for today's video. Until tomorrow, TTYL.